We were hosting a dinner party. The neighbor brought over a bottle of wine and said, loud enough for everyone to hear, "Remember this? From your bachelor party?" My husband froze. His brother laughed. I sat there, confused. Then she said, "I still have that necklace. You know. The one from the hotel?" The table went silent. My mother whispered, "What is she talking about?" And that's when I realized they'd been keeping a secret since before the wedding. So, this happened 2 months ago, and I'm still shaking when I think about it. I haven't posted about it until now because I didn't know where to start. But I need to get it out. I need someone to hear it. We were hosting a dinner party at our house in Indianapolis. Nothing big, just close family, a couple of Nate's friends from work, and my mom and brother. My husband, Nate, had just gotten a promotion, and we thought it'd be a good way to celebrate. It was supposed to be fun. I spent the whole day making food, cleaning, setting the table just right. I wanted everything perfect. Nate helped here and there, but mostly he stayed out of my way like he usually does during my hosting mode. By the time people started arriving, I was tired but happy. It felt good seeing everyone smiling and chatting. The wine was flowing, and dinner was almost ready. Then Cheryl showed up. Cheryl is our next-door neighbor. She's in her late 30s, always dressed to kill, loud, flirty, and impossible to ignore. We didn't invite her. She wasn't even part of the original guest list. But she knocked on the door holding a bottle of red wine and gave me that kind of smile where you don't know if she's being kind or calculating. "I brought this," she said, holding the bottle toward Nate. "Thought you might recognize it." Nate looked up from his spot at the head of the table. His face changed instantly. Just froze, like someone hit pause. His eyes locked on the label. Then she said it. "Remember this? From your bachelor party?" The room got quiet. Not silent yet, but the kind of quiet where people are trying to pretend they didn't just hear something weird. I looked at Nate, confused. He wasn't moving. Not blinking. Just staring at the bottle. And then his brother Ryan, who had been half drunk since he walked in, let out this short, sharp laugh. It was wrong. Off. Not a laugh you make when someone says something funny. A laugh you make when something slips out that shouldn't have. I said, "What bachelor party?" Because as far as I knew, Nate didn't have one. Or at least that's what he told me. He said they just went out for beers. Nothing big. No strippers. No drama. Cheryl smiled wider. "Oh, he didn't tell you," she said. Her voice was sweet but cold underneath. "I still have that necklace, by the way. You know. The one from the hotel." Then the silence hit. This time for real. I felt it in my stomach. My mom leaned toward me and whispered, "What is she talking about?" Nate looked like he wanted to die. Ryan was grinning, looking at his wine glass like it was the most fascinating thing in the world. Everyone else stared down at their plates or at each other. But no one said a word. I stood up. Not dramatically. Just enough to feel like I was still in control. "Hotel?" I asked. "What hotel?" Nate didn't answer. Cheryl tilted her head. "Oh, sweetie. You really didn't know?" And that's when I knew. There was a secret. Something ugly. Something they'd all known and I didn't. Nate's brother. Cheryl. Maybe more. Maybe everyone at that table. I looked at my husband, and he wouldn't meet my eyes. My voice shook. "What happened at that bachelor party, Nate?" Still nothing. So I picked up my napkin, set it on the table, and walked straight to our bedroom. I didn't slam the door. I didn't cry. Not yet. I just sat down on the edge of the bed and tried to breathe. I sat there on the bed for what felt like forever. My ears were ringing. I could still hear her voice, Cheryl's smug little tone, playing over and over again in my head. "I still have that necklace. You know. The one from the hotel." What the hell kind of necklace? What hotel? Why did she say it like that? Like it meant something more? I heard voices in the dining room, low and frantic. My mom must have tried to calm things down, probably offered more wine. That's her go-to when things get tense. I heard Ryan laugh again, louder this time. Like he thought it was all some big joke. I wasn't going to let this slide. I got up and walked back into the room. Everyone got quiet again as soon as they saw me. I could feel their eyes on me like I was some fragile thing about to break. But I wasn't breaking. Not yet. I walked straight to Nate. He still hadn't moved much. Just sitting there, stiff and silent. "Tell me what happened," I said low and sharp. Nate finally looked up. His eyes were red. I don't know if it was from the wine or from the guilt, but it didn't matter. "Babe, it wasn't what it sounds like," he said. His voice was small, like he already knew it wasn't going to work. "Oh, really?" I said. "Because it sounds like you lied to me about a bachelor party. It sounds like there was a hotel. It sounds like Cheryl was there. And it sounds like there was a goddamn necklace." He opened his mouth, closed it, then looked at Ryan like he needed backup. Ryan smirked. "Come on, man. She was gonna find out eventually." That made me snap. "Find out what?" I said, turning toward him. "You think this is funny? You think this is just some party story?" Ryan leaned back in his chair, not even pretending to take me seriously. It was just a party. One night. He was drunk. We all were. Shit happens. That phrase, shit happens, made me want to throw something. Cheryl sat down at the table like she belonged there. "It wasn't just some drunken mistake," she said, sipping her wine. "He picked me. Out of everyone there, he picked me. And then I knew. It wasn't just a kiss. It wasn't just flirting. He slept with her. Before the wedding. Days before the wedding. I couldn't breathe." "You had sex with her?" I said, looking at Nate dead in the eyes. "Tell me right now." He looked down. That was enough. I turned to his parents. "Did you know?" His mom looked panicked. "We didn't," he told us after. "He said it was a mistake. That it meant nothing. He swore it would never happen again." That felt like a slap in the face. They all knew. Everyone at that damn table except me. Everyone had let me marry him. Even his parents. Even Ryan. Even Cheryl, sitting there like the queen of the damn table. "You all lied to me," I said. My voice wasn't loud, but it was shaking now. "You all sat there, watched me say vows to a man who cheated on me the week before our wedding, and you said nothing." Nobody said a word. My mom stood up behind me. She was crying. Not sobbing, just quiet, stunned tears. She reached out and touched my shoulder, but I didn't move. I looked at Nate one last time. "I want you out. Tonight." He blinked. Where am I supposed to go?" "I don't care," I said. "Call Ryan. Call Cheryl. Sleep in your car. You're not staying here." He stood up finally, but he wasn't angry. He looked defeated. "You said you forgave me," he whispered. "And that stopped me cold." "You told me there was nothing to forgive," I said. "You made me live in a lie. For 2 years." He looked like he was going to argue, but he didn't. He just walked to the hallway to pack a bag. I turned back to the table. "Dinner's over," I said. "Get out." They all left. Even my brother. Even my mom, though she stayed behind for a minute to hug me and whisper, "I'm so sorry." I waited until the house was empty, and then I sat on the kitchen floor and cried until I couldn't cry anymore. But I wasn't done. Not even close. I wasn't just going to kick him out. I was going to make sure everyone who helped him lie paid for it. The next morning, I woke up to silence. The kind of silence that doesn't feel peaceful. The kind that wraps around you like a cold blanket. Nate was gone. He'd taken his duffel bag and disappeared sometime after midnight. He didn't leave a note. Good. I didn't want one. My phone had blown up overnight. Missed calls from Nate. A long text from Ryan that started with, "You're being dramatic," and ended with, "You're going to regret this." Cheryl, of course, hadn't texted. But she posted a photo on Instagram of that same damn wine bottle on her kitchen counter with the caption, "Some nights are unforgettable, wine glass kiss mark." I didn't even follow her. Someone sent it to me. I went to work that morning because I needed to feel normal, but I couldn't focus. I just kept thinking about everything. About how long they had kept it from me. About how they had smiled at me, toasted me at our wedding, danced at our reception, all while hiding this disgusting truth. When I got home that night, there was a letter in the mailbox. No return address. Inside was a single photograph. Nate. In a hotel room. With Cheryl. He was shirtless. She was in his lap, wearing nothing but that damn necklace. And scrawled in Sharpie across the back, "Ask him about room 306. Ask what he promised me." I sat down on the porch steps and stared at the photo for 10 minutes. My stomach turned. I didn't know who sent it. I still don't. But they wanted me to see it. Someone out there wanted this to blow up even more than it already had. I called Nate. He didn't answer. So I did the next best thing. I called his boss. Nate works in sales for a regional distribution company. Big enough to matter, small enough that people talk. I didn't go into details, but I asked if it was common for employees to use company credit cards for hotel rooms in the city when they lived 10 minutes away. That got his attention. An hour later, Nate called me. "Why would you go to my boss?" he said, panicked. "I don't know," I said. "Maybe because you charged a hotel room under the company account the weekend before our wedding." "Room 306, right?" He didn't respond. "I have the picture, Nate." Silence. "Who gave it to you?" "Oh, now you want answers?" He tried to spin it. Said Cheryl was lying. Said she set him up. Said he was too drunk to remember most of that night. Same old excuses. But then I hit him with it. "What did you promise her?" That's when he broke. He didn't say the words, but I could feel it in the silence. He promised Cheryl more. Maybe not a relationship, maybe not love, but something. Attention. Money. Hell, maybe even a job. She'd been freelancing ever since she left her marketing agency. Now it made sense why she kept showing up with favors for us. She thought she had leverage. And maybe she did. Until now. I had something too. I called an old friend of mine, Lauren, who worked in digital forensics. She owed me a favor. I asked her to help me dig. Not on Nate. On Cheryl. It didn't take long. Cheryl had a history. A long one. Multiple harassment complaints at her last job. A few lawsuits. Non-disclosure agreements with men twice her age. She wasn't just a homewrecker. She was a grifter. Lauren pulled something else, too. A second hotel room booked that same night. Paid with Cheryl's own card. And the guest listed? Ryan. Nate's brother. He had been there with her too. And suddenly everything made sense. The laugh. The smirk. The reason why he never took my side. Why he always defended Nate no matter what. They shared her. My stomach turned all over again. They were in on it. Both of them. I didn't sleep that night. I couldn't. I just sat in the dark with that photo in one hand and the second hotel reservation printout in the other, feeling like the last 2 years of my life had been ripped away from me. I'd been lied to. Used. Humiliated. And not just by Nate. His own brother, Ryan, had taken part in it. Cheryl, too. And all of them thought I'd stay quiet. That I'd cry, break down, and move on. They had no idea who I really was. The next morning, I got to work early and made 3 copies of everything. The photos. The receipts. The messages. Everything Lauren had helped me dig up. I placed each set in its own envelope, sealed tight. Then I mailed them. One went to Nate's HR department. The second went to Ryan's girlfriend, Maggie. I'd met her once. Sweet girl. Didn't talk much. She deserved to know who she was sleeping next to. The third? That went straight to Cheryl's former employer. The one she had sued for wrongful termination. Turns out they were still in a legal mess. I figured a copy of her recent activities might come in handy. I wasn't done. I posted the photo on a burner Facebook account. No names, just the image and a simple caption. This is what loyalty looks like in room 306, 5 days before the wedding. I knew people would connect the dots. Indianapolis isn't that big of a city, and Nate had a reputation. His company thrived on relationships, trust, and word-of-mouth referrals. That photo started making the rounds within hours. By that night, it had been shared over 100 times. 2 days later, Nate was let go. His boss told him the company couldn't be tied to personal scandals. Ryan's girlfriend dumped him. Moved out. Took half the furniture and posted a photo of the empty living room with the caption, "Good luck explaining this one, Ryan." Cheryl? She came knocking. Literally. She stood at my door screaming at me through the glass. "You think this makes you the better person?" she yelled. "You think this fixes anything?" I opened the door just enough to look her in the eye. "No," I said. "But it makes sure no one else gets fooled by you ever again." She called me a few names I won't repeat, then stormed off. That should have been the end of it. But it wasn't. Because a week later, I found out I was pregnant. And that's when I realized I wasn't innocent either. I had stayed blind. I had ignored the little signs. The way Nate got weird when Cheryl was around. The way Ryan always brushed off my questions. I had trusted too easily. Believed too quickly. That baby? It was mine. Mine to protect. So I lawyered up. I filed for divorce the next day. And I made sure to include everything, every detail, every photo, every copy. I wasn't just going to walk away. I was going to take him for every dime he tried to hide. He tried to fight it. Claimed emotional stress. Said I was out to destroy him. He was right. The courts sided with me. I got the house. Full custody. And spousal support for the next 3 years. Nate moved back in with his parents. Ryan left town. Cheryl disappeared off social media. And me? I painted the guest room yellow. For the baby. People talk. They always will. But when they talk about me now, they use words like strong, smart, and sometimes even scary. I can live with that. Because I may have been the last to know. But I was the one who ended it. For good.